What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we're hopping into Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 11. With the temptation of another Amazon existing, Wonder Woman finds herself in Maze Area 41. What she found wasn't an Amazon, but it was Clea, being forced to jump down into a pit. Once she gets down here, it's almost like she's hallucinating, and in this hallucination, some kind of fire monster, some kind of beast with a giant hammer comes right after her. Now, Wonder Woman, she knows that these hallucinogenic flowers, they're overwhelming her. Now she faces an unknown assailant. She's on unfamiliar ground. More than this, she can't trust any of her senses. She knows what could happen. She could kill someone if she starts fighting blindly. Refusing to let this happen, she throws down her axe. Her words are slurred and gargled. This means she's not able to cast usual spells. Unless her words are fine and her perception of those words is the only thing that has changed. Pulling something out of her bag, she says, "Allow me to see, Athena, to see what is real, what is true, to see what is hidden from me, to strike me down before I allow myself to hurt any innocent." That is where Wonder Woman falls. And that fiery beast that stood before her is no longer on fire. She tells the science guy that Wonder Woman had jumped in to save to make it seem real, to make it seem like you're dying down here, to start screaming, pleading for your life, the whole shebang. This person picks up Wonder Woman, and as they go to leave, we see something rise up out of the flowers, bending water, almost sentient water. Wonder Woman telling it that I see you. This is what jumps us over to the Wild Isle. As Wonder Woman sits here with the goddess, Wonder Woman has to ask, "Are you angry with me?" And the goddess, very confused, wonders why Diana would ever wonder such a thing. And she thinks this because she's not like everybody else. That almost she seemed like a disappointment for how she turned out. This is when the goddess tells her that you don't disappoint me, you delight me. In truth, the goddess is confounded by the princess. The goddess's disciples are more like her than anybody else. They seek her out because they're responding to something in themselves that is also her, something that speaks truth to their souls. They understand one another so very well, but Diana doesn't seek out the goddess. They do not understand one another. This is not something to be sorry about. It is good that you are not like the goddess. Clever in a way that the goddess is not. Kind and compassionate, creative, patient. That Diana is truly the best of all of us. That this world is so very lucky to have you in it, even if it means that you're always going to confound me in ways that I don't expect. This is your gift to the world. This is when the goddess tells Diana to return the stone from which it came. Take the stone, use your magic, and make the Hydra in the water love the stone. The goddess then instructing her to take that stone and throw it into the water. And once it lands, once it reaches the bottom, she tells Diana to now go bring it back to me. Do not use magic. And yes, there is a Hydra in there. Make sure to choose the right weapon, because the right weapon against your enemies, it can mean everything. With axe in hand, Diana marches into that water. Some time later, she returns. She places that orb in front of the goddess. And the goddess tells Diana that was well done. That maybe you're more like me than I would like to admit. Maybe there are more similarities here than I thought. But that's when Diana picks up the orb, the stone, and takes it back into the water. The goddess confused, wondering, where are you going? What Diana had done is make a bargain with the Hydra. The Hydra got to keep the axe until Diana brings the stone back. Yet again, confounding the goddess. But the goddess told her to choose the right weapon. The right weapon in this scenario was a bargain. Taking us back to present day, this is where we pick up with Diana, introducing herself as Diana of Themyscira, last of the Amazons. The one that stands before Diana is Io, and Diana is the sister that they had all dreamed of, that the queen had dreamed of, the miracle that they have all been waiting for. Wonder Woman has finally found an Amazon. and she has dreamed of this day since she was a child. But Io must wonder, why have you never met another Amazon? And though this is a long story and there will be time for this, right now they gotta get out of this maze. But Io herself has missed so very much, because Io has been trapped in this maze for a very long time. She even has a map tattooed out of this maze all over her body. Io had fell on an ancient battlefield. She thought she was dead, but somehow she made it into this maze, buried underground. And then humanity found it. Conditions did not improve since that time. This is where Io shows that there's almost a whole thriving society in this maze. Ferdinand the Minotaur. He is one of the few people that have been helping individuals find safe haven. And these people here, they are more than ready to rise up against Clea. Ever since being thrown down into this pit, over time, the survivors and other people, they've helped each other out. They've built a real community. Now, this is still a nightmarish hell prison, one that they haven't found any escape from. But they call this place New Hope, because that is what it is represented for them, while they work to try and free themselves. Because while they may be stuck down in this maze, they've been digging through the walls. They've had decades. Every time they fail, it's devastating. But a new tunnel means new hope. And that hope, that is what sustains them. That is what keeps them going and keeps them staying alive. This is their 6th tunnel. But Io believes that this might be their most promising attempt. The other failed attempts, sometimes they hit metal. Sometimes it's stone they can't get past. And even with Io's strength, their resources are impossibly limited. Sometimes the tunnels collapse. That'll threaten the entire integrity of the structure itself. With nowhere to escape, they have to give up on the tunnel. One time, they did hit seawater. Going down to this place, Wonder Woman looks at this tunnel, and they have to patch up this tunnel quite often to make sure that that seawater doesn't get in, because that would drown out everybody. And looking at this, Wonder Woman knows that an Amazon, she could survive this. She could have broken through this wall and simply swam to her freedom, but everybody else would have died. She stayed with these people for decades, not to abandon them. She always believed that the family that was stolen away from her was very great and very worthy. This is just that confirmation of long-held beliefs and wishes over all of this time, so much so that it brings her to her knees. But all of this brings them back to the beginning, brings them back to those flowers. At this point, Wonder Woman's building up an immunity to the hallucinogen. This is where Wonder Woman points out on Io's arm where the exit is, where they have a door. But Wonder Woman also has to wonder why Clea has never tried to come down here. And that is because there was a beast down here, one that killed everything she sent down. And Io, she did try to reason with it, but she ultimately had to take it down. Ever since then, they've kind of continued on the illusion that that thing is still alive, so she won't send anybody else down. Wonder Woman, though, she knows that there's something in these flowers. There's something sentient down here. She tells Io to get the people ready to move. When you get to the mark on the wall, you can break it using this spell. This will open the door to my home in Gateway City. This will lead your people to safety. But Diana, she's staying behind. She is going to destroy this maze so that no one ever gets stuck in it again, as the Amazons go their separate ways. Diana, not sure if she'll ever run into another Amazon again. This is when she calls out that sentient water. Diana telling it that if you reveal yourself, together we may escape this cursed place. But the water, it says that it's incomplete and it cannot aid her. But if Diana were to complete it, then they might be able to do something. Diana knows the truth of it, telling it to pay attention because this is going to happen fast. Diana jumps out of the pit. Jumping out of this pit, all the guards, they jump. They go to kill her. She hits Ferdinand with a healing spell. He breaks free. He starts knocking some skulls. And amidst all the chaos, Wonder Woman goes after Clea. She goes for her staff, but underestimating Clea's strength, Wonder Woman gets thrown back. Clea charges in and takes that staff trident, plunges it into her stomach. Wonder Woman was trying to let her know that I had an offer for you. We were gonna have a conversation, that I know you've been trapped here for a very long time, but stabbing me, that's not an appropriate counteroffer. That's when Wonder Woman, she takes that trident out of her stomach, blood on it, and she plunges it down into the depth. and Wonder Woman telling Clea that despite your behavior, I have something great to offer you. If you'll hear me out, we could come to a decision. With that trident returning up to the surface, that sentient water, with the trident, it finds itself complete, taking on new form. It returns to the hand of Wonder Woman, and that is where this issue will end. So what do you guys think? Who is the trident? It's sentient water. So I think there's two options we can go with here. Either one, this is absolute Aquaman, or two, this is Poseidon. Now, I'm leaning more towards Poseidon in this regard. I would love for it to be absolute Aquaman, but I think more likely with everything that we've been dealing with, all the mythology, all the gods, so on and so forth, I think it's probably gonna be Poseidon. But hell, you never know, man. You never know. You really don't. It could be a Wonder Twin for all I freaking know. Like, it could be a handful of different things, but I think based off of everything we've seen, those are the two most likely outcomes for what this is. And I'll say it like I've always been saying it, Kelly Thompson, top of her game. Hands down, one of the best writers to be coming out of any of the top two. And Kelly Thompson knows how to write strong, independent women. Like, hands down. Be it Captain Marvel, whether it be Wonder Woman. She knows how to take these strong, super powerful characters, but also make them not only feminine, but vulnerable. Making them relatable. Making it to where you can understand them. I think Kelly Thompson has a great eye, a great talent for being able to capture what it is to be one of these super powerful, strong women in this landscape of just absolute domination. And it doesn't even matter the sexes per se, but in a hugely predominantly male-dominated world, there are female characters that are out there that are just so stupidly powerful, and Kelly Thompson does such a phenomenal job of highlighting who those characters are, what they represent, where they come from, how their backgrounds mean something. And I think it's a great thing because it opens the door to young women reading comics. You know, me, myself, I have 3 daughters. And when I go to look for comics for them, they're not into comics like I am. They're not gonna just pick up any comic book and just be like, I enjoy this character, I know the depth, the lore of this character, and so I want to read about them. And so when I'm looking for a story for my girls, I'm really focusing on stories that focus on something that's going to relate to them, something that's going to connect to them better. And usually those stories have to do with, you know, feminine aspects, women empowerment, just goofing off with your friends and going and having coffee, or the things like in this book with sisterhood. Now, these things aren't guaranteed to connect with my daughters, but I can have a high probability that they're going to connect more with this than something like that indie comic I covered, Escape, where it's, you know, dog-faced individuals going in World War II. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it is an absolute necessity to have writers like Kelly Thompson writing stories like this that not only people like me absolutely love and enjoy, but people like my daughter can pick it up and they might actually get into comics, and we might start a whole new generation of comic book readers. And then let's add in the fact all the mythology, the lore, the knowledge of history that you have to have going into writing these comics because of all the Greek mythology, the Norse mythology, and everything else. Like, it is so vitally important to know your mythology, your lore, your religions of the world when you're talking about stories like this. So my hat off to Kelly Thompson. Continue killing it. Continue to just do an absolute banger job. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that's going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. That's going to get you caught up on everything going on with the Absolute Universe. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. A lot like Patreon, having a bunch of different tiers from $1 to $50, bunch of different options, helps us out tremendously. If you can't do that, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.